Hi guys, welcome back.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, we are in season 5 of the Open Doors podcast. We took a break. We needed a break and it was so good. We have a plan of how long we think this new season's going to go. We're going to say 7 episodes, but if
We really don't know.
exactly.
Just like we didn't know we were going to take a break, we recorded released 6 episodes of season 4. Like, okay, we're done. We're going to take a little break.
Yeah.
So, but it was a good break because it gives us a chance to allow the Holy Spirit to work and fill us and then share more with you guys. So, a little technical difficulties. So, Janine and I are sharing a mic, which means, this is going to be a great episode. So,
Yep.
we missed you guys, though.
We did. Yvette, how is everything over there? Spain. Hey. Who's the winner of the World Cup? Let's go, Yvette. I mean, I know you didn't play the game or anything, but
Yeah, and the number 7 player, just saying.
his number
was-
is 7.
Yeah, he was the one who scored. And he's Catholic, by the way.
Ooh.
Just
Good
saying.
I love it.
Everything here is fine. It's just been a little bit messy, but at the same time great. And a lot of people from the past being in my present, but me being different. And it's also super hot here, but I'm having a nice summer. Yeah.
So the topic is, the season is entitled Hope and Healing. And we thought for episode 1, we would just kind of talk about how hope is such a big word. And if we're supposed to have hope, then why do we sometimes feel so alone? Like one of the major things that you learn from the Bible and from Jesus and just from his speaking is like, I'm with you, I'm for you, I'm not going to abandon you. But the truth is sometimes we don't feel like he's with us. Sometimes we don't feel like he's for us. And sometimes we do feel abandoned.
I figure hope to be as pretty much the absence of fear. And I mean, I know naturally for humans, when we see something we don't exactly understand or like, we tend to fear it. So it's almost like when we come across an obstacle that we don't understand, our first reaction is fear without hope.
Wow, I love that. I think because when something hard hits us, especially if we least expect it, our first response is fear. What am I going to do? What's going to happen? How am I going to get through it? And we automatically, I feel like, go into that mode of control. Like, what can I do to make sure I'm going to be okay, or the people I love around me are going to be okay? So, and that control is driven by fear. So it's like we don't even give ourselves a chance to hope because we automatically are just in that flight, fight, or freeze mode.
Yeah.
I mean, well, what's your first reaction when your boss yells your name? Obviously, well, unless you've been a great worker, it's not going to be, oh my gosh, I'm getting a raise. No, it's going to be like, oh, I did something bad. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong now?
Oh my God. It's like when your parent calls your name and you're like, what did I do now? And you're like, oh, I just want to say hi or something.
And you feel like you have to fix it alone. It's all up to you.
Yeah, I do feel hope is really related to control in some way, what you said, Marisa, about trying to control, and what you said, fixing the situation. And I think hope arises when you let go the control. That's when you give a space enough to hope arise in you and in the whole situation. And for me, this summer, it's really the quote that has been in my mind is really let go and let God, and that requires a lot of hope, not just faith, but also hope that everything what you cannot see is going to be okay. And maybe I think fear also is the first thing that we feel, because it's humans are really sometimes pessimist about things. We tend to go to the darkness instead of the light. It's easier for us. I don't know why, but I see that all the time in myself and in my friends. What you said, someone yells at us or call us, and the first instinct that we have is something bad is going to happen, not something good is going to happen. So I think actually it requires a lot of faith to have hope when you cannot see. I think they are all in one hand, and everything is related to let go and let God.
I ran into a woman yesterday, Rosario. She's someone who has started coming to our prayer group and has been coming to our fire nights and stuff. And she's also a widow of about a year. And we met her a little over a year ago, but like not like introduced ourselves to her or anything like that. And I finally introduced myself to her about 6 months after we had like prayed in a group setting with her. And I just kind of shared like a little bit of my story. And the way she looked at me was like she was in like grief, and like there was like a little bit of a sadness on her that I had recognized. And she looked at me and she was almost asking can I have hope? Can I have hope that I can like get through this situation that I'm in right now? And I basically like shared like, yeah, like you can get through this. And then that was about, I don't know, maybe like 5 months ago. And then I ran into her yesterday, and it was as if watching that hope that was like instilled in her maybe at that moment through her own prayer, through her own faith, like I watched it grow and I watched it come back like alive, which it probably has always been there because her faith is so strong, but watching it even further like gave me hope. And I feel like something that has been a topic of conversation about healing and hope is that hope can be like transferred to other people. Like when we have hope for ourselves, we can then like share it with other people, giving them hope, and even sharing our own testimonies or our own stories.
Yeah. I think like faith is the ground, it's like the root that keeps you, the hand that keeps you like, on the ground. And faith gives you hope, is that thing that allows you to have hope and find it. Like for me, for example, when things are messy or I don't know, I'm in a difficult situation or whatever, my faith is what makes me be like thinking like, okay, Jesus is gonna step in, or Jesus is there even if I'm not feeling him. I don't know what he's doing, but I know he's there. But this faith is what gives a space for my hope. Hope that everything is going to be okay, because without faith, sometimes for me, it will be so hard to have hope in the situation, in the light, that will come.
When you were talking, I had like an image of a tree, like I feel like the faith is the roots, like the really strong roots of the tree. And when the big storms come, you see the branches and the leaves and everything, and they're like kind of getting pushed all about. But when you have that root of faith, it's almost like the tree will still stand. It might get thrown about, the leaves will fly off, and sometimes branches get taken off, but the tree still stands. And I feel like that's kind of what you described in that, like I actually had an image of like a big storm and like a tree, and it just kind of getting tossed, but not coming down, but definitely getting tossed. And I think that's kind of like how it is for us. There's like a little bit of the storm and we get tossed a little.
Yeah.
That's so interesting because my second book, the image of that book was a tree. And the artist that designed the cover, I had always given her like my own ideas, and I had the idea of the tree. And something she did completely on her own was in the roots, she wrote faith, hope, and love. And I think having that firm foundation in faith allows you to know the truth that you aren't alone, even in the moments when you do feel alone. So it's like if you have that foundation of faith and you know it, even if you feel it in the moment, even if you believe the lie, no one understands me, no one's going to be there for me, people are going to let you down, people are going to disappoint you, which it's all going to be true. Without faith, you fall and you really probably don't get back up in the way that you should if you do have your foundation, your roots in faith.
Yeah. And I do think we need the trials, how you pronounce it?
Trials.
Trials. I do think we need them, like he never promised a perfect world here in the earth or a perfect life for us, but he promised us that he will always be there. And I know, and I'm the first one that sometimes I send voice messages to Janine like, I'm super upset with Jesus because I don't get it. I don't understand this, whatever, and we take this victim mode sometimes. And sometimes you need, God is there. Like for me, Yesterday, there is a friend of mine that asked me, like, I don't know if I ever heard God's voice, you know? And I said, have you ever been in a bad situation and suddenly a song answered you? Or suddenly you found an open church and you could sit down and feel this peace from Jesus? Or maybe a call of a friend, that helped you. Sometimes, in those things, God is there too. Like, I think God is always there in the middle of the mess. And when I'm upset, sending these voice messages, maybe God's word is speaking through Janine's answer. Like, sometimes we forget that God is everything that is good and everywhere. And sometimes we are just focused in one way of answer, that we really believe the lie that he is not there because he is not answering the way we expect or acting the way we expect. And sometimes that's why we need to be alone and in silence to find the truth. For me, it's not the same feeling alone. No, feeling lonely that being alone. For me, it's completely different. It's a huge difference. You are not alone, but you can feel alone. And that's a lie.
I feel like also your ability to just say the truth of how you actually do feel. Like you're not hiding the emotion of the loneliness or however, like whatever the circumstances or why you're upset with God or why you feel like he's not listening. Because the truth is that's how you feel. And I think a lot of times we pretend not to feel those things so that we will look like the good Christian who's always has faith. But the roots of the faith, like the tree, are buried in deep so that when those storms come and you are feeling thrown about, I feel like we have to use our voice to say, like, this isn't good. I don't feel good right now. I feel like I'm losing a battle. And I think the freedom to be able to be honest is huge in faith and hope.
I think we base our expectations also on of who God is compared to like the people around us. So like we have said so many times, like we're gonna let each other down. We're gonna abandon each other. We're gonna reject each other. We're gonna hurt each other, disappoint. The list can go on and on and on. And so unless your faith has grown to a point where God is different than every other human you've ever been hurt by, you might believe that about him. But if you grow in that faith, you can have the honesty, but also that knowledge of like, yeah, I can say I feel so alone in this moment. God, where are you? I think of that song, like, Where Were You by Francesca Battistelli.
So good.
And then it's like, I know you're there. I know. And then it like, I feel like it reminds me of conversations that we have of like when you're in that storm, like you're here, you're at like low. And then like when you walk through that storm with the honesty, with the knowledge, then you just rise higher than you were before.
Yeah. What about the growth after the storm, Like, imagine living without those storms. Like we will be at the beginning. Like I feel after every storm, I know better myself, I know better my faith, and I know better him. Like I keep learning and learning from all those things. Like that requires faith, hope, love, a lot of these things. But I think if you are close to him and you find the ways to go to him when you feel far away or alone or wherever, if you keep asking, where are you? I promise you, he will answer you.
It's like we've met so many new people this summer. But there's a new person in our life that we had met, and she's like starting a new job and has like a new circumstance in her life. And one of the things that she said to us was, I had like one of my first meetings in my new job or whatever. And in my new meeting, I didn't expect something that happened. And I just got it was almost like when you get a cold water thrown in your face and you don't understand. It's like this icy cold water and it like just hits you in the face and your reaction is to jump back in fear and like, oh my gosh, like I'm alone in this moment. And I think that so many of us have moments. I think the way she described the moment was what really hit me. Like it was like she's in this new circumstance, these new people, and then something comes out of nowhere and it's like a shock to the system. And I think that that is something that happens to like all of us. It's like we're walking along and we're thinking, but then all of a sudden it's like the shock sometimes takes us so off guard that we don't even know God is still there. You know, that's where that self-reliance kind of comes in, and you want to like fix.
I'm hearing discouragement. Like if you're walking into something new, you know, I'm sure at some point there was a lot of like, you know, on some level anxiety, like this is something new I'm walking into. I don't know what to expect, but like maybe with an excitement of hope, you know, you have that excited hope, like, okay, this is something new. I can't wait to see. And then the shock of it in the beginning of a hardship could be so discouraging. And it's like what I know you said earlier, like the absence of hope being the opposite of hope being fear, like, and discouragement, because how quickly could her hope have been just erased in that moment of when that, you know, cold water hit her? And how often are we in those situations where we're expecting something to be something that it doesn't end up being, or in the moment it's not. And then it's like, okay, well then what? I thought this, and now I feel all this discouragement. Like, yeah. And I just think like, I think we could get really caught up in the fear and in the discouragement and really quickly lose our hope.
And sometimes I think that makes you want to run. It's like, if this is how it's going to be, I want to run in the other direction and I want to get away. And like, for my own self, it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Now but that to me is like the fear now takes a hold of your body, and it's like, I can't, you know? It's like when I was learning how to drive and I was with my brother-in-law. A memory came to me, and he was teaching me, and we were in an abandoned parking lot. So it was like no big deal. It should be safe. And he was telling me as I was driving, I was just going in the little parking lot. No one else was there. And he's going, brake. And he was like, brake. And I hit the gas. And I hit the gas, and he's going, brake. And I hit the gas harder. And we ended up going up the curb into like a whole bunch of bushes. And he was like, I said brake. And I was like, I know, I freaked out. Like, it was like my first time, you know, I didn't know what to do. And that fear of like, and then like after, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore because I can't, you know? And I was so young, and it was like I was just learning, and he was awesome about it, but it definitely scared me and made me want to step back and run.
Yeah. Or I don't want to try and like put in the effort because, you know, it's just going to always be that bad.
I mean, it's easy to give up, you know. It's so easy to just like I'm done, you know. But that's also what makes us, for me, strong. You know, it's like face the storm and fight back all the time, and keep walking. And when you can't do it alone, just ask for help. You know, there are people there. Ask God. And for me, when I feel like oh my God, He abandoned me. You know, I'm so upset. Whatever. First, don't hide it. He wants you honest. And then, secondly, I try to remember Him on the cross. You know. He also felt abandoned in some way, you know, and he had to face a huge storm, and probably he felt alone too at some point, and uncomprehended too, you know, and all what he did was love, hope, and faith. The three like foundation that for me, helped him to keep going. And I think that's like a huge example for us to remember when life gets messy. Put some love, hope, and faith in the path, and that will help you to fight back and keep walking as he did.
Wow. I'm almost seeing like faith and hope and love being like this. I don't know if that's the right order or whatever, but that's the order I say it in: faith, hope, and love.
It is.
And I'm almost feeling it's like a stepping stone. Like once your faith is big enough, your hope grows. And then once your hope grows, I think you just then have the ability to like love people better. And even if maybe you are feeling alone by God, then maybe you're more open to the people that are around you that can help you feel like not alone. Because I think when you're I think maybe when your foundation might not be as strong or isn't as strong yet, I think it's really easy for us to like isolate. So every time you keep saying the words together, I'm seeing them as like almost like a 3-tiered cake, like faith is the bottom. And then, it's like, and they work obviously like through and through with each other. But I think like one at a time is really strong.
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes like try to not be scared of taking time alone. It's like I see it in my friends, like this need of being around people no matter what, for that need. And sometimes we are also scared of just choosing to have our own moments with him or with ourselves. So I think it's also super important. I did a lot that in United States, but I thought it was like not a punishment, but I think it was something like bad for me or whatever. But now I usually don't feel alone, and when I'm taking my time alone, it's because I choose that. So that allows me to choose also the correct people or what I want to be or what I don't want to be, and that's also I don't know how to say it, but joined by love for me, love for yourself, love for the moments with him. Like I think it's all a balance of what I said. It's just like one thing is being alone and the other thing is feeling alone. It's not the same being alone than feeling lonely. But I think sometimes humans try to like run away from these moments with him or with yourself at the same time. And I think they are like the silence of you and him or of you alone at home. There is also beauty in that.
Yeah. So maybe just kind of like, don't be afraid of the alone or the loneliness even. I mean, no, because loneliness is different than being alone, but like, don't be scared to be on your own for a little while. Like maybe that's what you need. I mean, didn't Jesus go away to a lonely place? Very frequently with his apostles, he would be like, get me away from you people. I need time. I need space, And I think that's just a normal thing. I think we might all need those moments of space to work things out in our minds and in our hearts and realize like we're gonna be okay. And I think love being the top tier of the cake is a really cool thing because maybe love is the hardest part of it all. Because love makes it like rejection could happen if I'm open to that. So it's like the hope is scary and then the love is even scarier, which is why maybe we're making this up here, but maybe you really do need that root of faith so that you can have hope and be free to love. I feel like maybe they all go together in like some beautiful like cake or tree,
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I love that. I think that's so true. I love the idea of like being alone versus being lonely. Yeah, I mean, just like in my experience, I think I'm pretty comfortable being alone, just from circumstances at this point. But I think it could be misconstrued to other people as I am lonely, and I am lonely sometimes, like, of course, but I also think, like, I know you said before, like, don't be afraid of loneliness. And I know loneliness can be tricky because loneliness could be a lie. Loneliness could be like a cycle you fall in that's not really actually like true. But at the same time, I almost want to like say, like, yeah, don't be afraid of when the loneliness does come up, because then I think it gives you the opportunity to be honest. And like you said before, like, learn and grow. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think it's like maybe you have to like, maybe if you are lonely, like just like learning to be alone in silence and being comfortable in being alone could also be like, you don't want to be comfortable in the lonely. That's not what I'm saying. I guess what I'm saying is like maybe not being afraid to admit your loneliness or to experience the loneliness is like, you're saying like these people fill their time with all these people. They don't even give themselves a chance, So I think it's like, it just allows the opportunity to grow and to learn and to be honest and to be like, wait, that is a lie. I am actually not lonely. I am not actually not alone. And I guess you don't really know it's a lie and you can't really face it or, turn it into truth unless you experience it.
Yeah, I think in the past I was afraid of those moments by my own, for example, and now not. I enjoy them, and I think the difference between one and the other is that now I have Jesus no matter what, no matter if I'm by my own or not. So that loneliness, even if I'm alone in that moment, it doesn't hit me because that doesn't exist. I know He's always there. Even if I'm like, maybe in the past I was sitting on a bench alone, for example, and I was feeling the loneliness. I was like feeling this like hole inside of me, and that anxiety. So I was accepting and maybe not putting boundaries on people or whatever, just to like feel that I was surrounded by people. And right now I can be on that bench and I can be alone, on the exterior, but inside I know I'm not. So that doesn't hit me. I don't need to be surrounded because I'm surrounded by the Word. So that faith also have taught me, like, you are never alone. Literally, like, you are never alone, and you can feel it inside of you, no matter at what point where you are in your faith, no matter what point you are. He's there, and you will feel it. You can feel the difference. I can be sitting alone in the same bank before and now, and it doesn't feel the same.
I feel like I had an image of you sitting on a bench and like Jesus just like coming up and sitting down right next to you, and like, you're like the wind is blowing in your hair and there's so much like color and light and joy, and then he just comes up and he sits like right next to you. And I specifically see you, Yvette, but it could be any of us.
Yeah. So maybe use your imaginations for that positive like image and take that alone time to create some type of a maybe relationship with God and conversation and see where he takes it.
And just don't be afraid of the quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which a lot of us are afraid of that.
Because we live in a noisy world.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. That could be a whole other episode. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like we're coming to the end of this first episode of our new season. Anybody have anything else? Tiny mirror.
Let go and let God.
Yeah. I feel like that was how you
Hope
started,
and
right?
faith.
Yeah.
Amen.
Tiny miracles.
My tiny miracle is yesterday. This is beautiful family, Rosario. I mentioned her earlier in the episode, but she has a few children that come to adoration a lot with us. We've been seeing them for about a year, and they're just adorable. And I had seen on Facebook that they were having a lemonade stand, and I had sent it to Janine saying, oh my gosh, I wish we would have known about this. I would have been able to, we could have visited them or whatever. And and I drive home and I turn the corner and there's the lemonade stand, like right on, like literally around the block from my house. I didn't even know they lived in Patchogue. Like I didn't even know where they lived. And like, there they were. And they were just like the light of my day. They were adorable. And I had that amazing conversation with her. So her whole family is my tiny miracle.
My tiny miracle is Tony from the prayer center. We went to have like a cup of coffee with her this week, and it was just so like, she's just such an amazing person. And that prayer center, the St. Joseph's Prayer Center, is one of my favorite places on earth. And I just have so much gratitude for her and for that prayer center.
I'd say my tiny miracle is probably just being able to altar serve now. I love being able to participate in the Mass.
I love that.
I think my tiny miracle is I was thinking like one came into my mind, but it's not that tiny, it's huge, and it's receiving Lina's message that she was my best friend, that she was approved in USA. I had like and it's a huge miracle. It's not tiny, but when I was thinking on this week, it just came into my mind, that moment of reading that message.
Yes.
And it's like Lina is I don't know if you are listening, but she's a huge example of hope.
Wow.
In the middle of the darkness.
Wow. I feel like, we could talk about Lina. You are exactly right.
She's a huge example of hope and faith.
And perseverance.
Yeah.
In prayer.
Yeah. That girl never stopped praying, never stopped asking, and never stopped fighting. You are exactly right. Lina, you might be all of our giant miracles this week. Thank you for reminding us of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, welcome to season 5, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
They're
And
fighting
just
over-
remember, we are back.
See you in a while, crocodile. Circling back, I guess.
There we go. Bye, guys. Bye.